knife makers in Sheffield, Drew has some scorching opinions.
You set fire to it being in worse condition, but that'd be about it.
As a former cotton mill in Oldham, the deals are music to his ears.
I collect old punk stuff. That is of interest to me.
300.
And Drew recognises himself in one of the antiques.
Give me a fiver for it.
Drew Pritchard is one of Britain's leading decorative salvage dealers.
Well, that's pretty spectacular. Oh, God, they're fantastic. Beautiful.
He scours the country in search of weird and wonderful objects.
That's really nice. Parlez-vous français? It's like an adventure playground for antique dealers.
In his hunt for treasure, and there's nothing he won't buy.
Oh, yeah, look at that. I love him.
With help from Rebecca.
That's really cool.
Nice, isn't it?
I love it.
And a team of renovators, he transforms thousands of items, from junk to gems. At Antique Impresario Drew Pritchard's North Wales HQ, his expert team is busy staining furniture, rewiring lamps, and making sure all new stock is ready for the website. Drew's keen to keep stock moving and wants to clear out some of the objects that have been hanging around for a while.
Reduce it in price by 20%.
Knocking money off an item to help it sell quickly is what clearances are all about.
Have these just gone this morning?
Those have gone.
People have a tidy up. It's also a brilliant opportunity to swoop in and buy lots of new antiques at a reduced price that he can then entice his customers with.
Clearances have always been a major part of the antiques trade, and for me are things I absolutely love doing them.
A lot of antique dealers, they don't want to get involved in the skips, the rubbish, all that. You need vast storage areas. They're so greatly appreciated by the dealers.
Because what you get is a lot of volume, very quickly, usually at a knockdown price. Everyone's winning.
The boys are heading 280 miles south to Caterham in Surrey to visit an antiques and clearance dealer.
We're off to see Cullen's of Surrey, which is run by a guy called Derek. Clearances, church clearances, schools, whatever, you name it. It's incredibly hard work. It's ridiculous, in fact. It turns up a lot of good stuff, though. It does. If he's smart enough to start his own business and open a shop, he must have some clue about what's good and what's not.
The historic market town of Caterham is nestled within the beautiful countryside of the North Downs. Although it dates back to Norman times, the modern town was created in the Victorian era, and as it's just 20 miles south of London, it's now a popular commuter location. Family-run Cullen's have just opened a shop that specialises in antiques found from the homes it clears in London. It's run by Derek Hunt.
Cullen's started in 2011, sell the bits and pieces, the upcycled pieces. It's a family-run business. Myself, my mother, my father, my brother, a few cousins, my fiancée. So, yeah, a good traditional family-run business, yeah, Cullen's is, yeah.
Derek. Drew. Hello, mate. How are you?
Nice to meet you. Welcome to Cullen's.
I am T.
Nice to meet you.
Nice work.
Thank you.
Cool. Right, let's have a look around.
Wow. Why not? Why not?
So this is the posh side of the house clearance thing.
We should say that, yeah.
Okay. My first couple of weeks in the trade, I started doing house clearances.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We was just doing little bits of rubbish clearances here and there, and we just went from there, flowered, really.
That can be it. It's very tidy. It's good.
Thank you. Yeah, we
well,
try our best.
you can see stuff then, can't you? You know.
Yeah. No, we do try our best.
First impressions when I walk in, I think, well, that's art. You know, they don't look like this usually. They're just piled up, literally with no prices on them, dirty as you can find it, which is fine with me. I don't mind that at all. This is a whole different take on it. House clearance sort of warehouses, part of the antiques trade. You know, we need them. They need us. These guys are clearing houses in London. It doesn't actually get any better than that. I moved some stuff at Morris to move things around.
Yeah.
Where'd you get this from?
Drury Lane.
You bought it there?
Yeah, we purchased from a house clearance, yeah.
This high-quality bronze wall cabinet was most likely made in the early 1900s. Its slender sections support large original glass pieces. The fully adjustable brackets are solid cast and nickel-plated, allowing the shelves to be moved, and is finished off with a cresting all the way across the canopy. It could be worth...
I've got 150 on that.
On the cabinet?
On the cabinet, yeah.
sold.
Yeah. We're house clearance, so...
Marvellous, lovely job. We've been in the shop, I think, a minute, got the pleasantries out of the way, straight away, want to see this cabinet behind me. This cabinet isn't just good, it's really, really good. In completely original condition, it couldn't be any better. Apart from it does get better, because the price is 150 quid. And I think if you'd asked me 500, I'd have paid it. Easily. Don't bite my head off. He's trade. He is making his profit. He wouldn't have put that price on it if he wasn't making profit. This is the sort of the beauty of house clearance, though, isn't it? Because you just don't know what you're going to walk into.
No, you just don't know what's...
Oh, and quickly spots another tempting item.
It just needs tightening up at the bottom there, I think. The next thing I see is this reading stand. They're called the reading machine, this particular model. It's missing the finial from the top. It's probably had another arm on it as well. That's gone. There's some screws missing at the back of the timber as well. They need replacing. And the base is loose and falling to pieces.
This adjustable mahogany and brass reading or music stand dates from the end of the 19th century. Supported by a decorative cast iron base, it has an adjustable lectern, brass riser to keep your book in place, and an adjustable arm. This could be worth around £250.
What have you got on him? 160. What can you do on that?
Fantastic.
What they're perfect for these days, some people still use them for music stands and that sort of thing in their, in their nice old country estate. But they look great in restaurants. When you walk into a restaurant, it's got all the menus on it. That's generally what they'll go for. But there's always good places for me, these shops, because you just never know what's going to turn up in one.
It's everyday changes. We try not to do anything up. We just as it is, sell it to the trades. If
we lose a lot of money in restoration. Yeah. I know I do. To be honest, sometimes restoration can add real value, but sometimes you get into something and you think, why did I even start on this? So that's where you've got to be careful. Can we have a look through here?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's just this little.
Oh, it's just storage.
Just a little bit here. Yeah, that's the kitchen and so on and so forth. Yeah, it's just bits and pieces we've picked up over the time. So
sure. Give you £5 for it. Derek seems like a nice guy, and he started from scratch. One man and a van doing house clearances, exactly what I did. I can remember doing my first house clearance. I remember doing my first shop clearance. Now my world has changed, and I don't do that sort of house clearance. And do you know what? I miss it. I really miss it. If somebody said you got house clearance on tomorrow, I'd be there early, and that's unusual for me, I tell you.
Keen to find more trashed treasures, Drew heads to another room of clearance goodies fresh from London.
Do you want to be a Cyberman? God, people buy some weird stuff, don't they?
Very much so.
Really
Very
do.
much so. I think that's the joy of it.
Is that that's Doctor Who as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that is as well, yeah.
Don't though, so you'll cut yourself to ribbons.
Could be a movie prop as well,
Yeah. We've come up to one of the storage areas up in the roof, and straight away I can think, oh yeah, look, there's some fun bits in here. And again, really tidy. Bizarrely tidy. This little fella, look at that. Cool.
Spare board as well.
What do you want for these? Not that I know anything about them.
No, that's fair enough. 75 for those two.
Salvage ace Drew Pritchard is on the hunt for bargains, and there's no better place than a house clearance company.
House clearance sort of warehouses, part of the antiques trade. We need them. They need us.
Drew's hunting for quality.
Cool. What do you want for these?
75 for those two.
I don't know if that's...
I've no idea.
I've no idea.
This laminated timber skateboard and spare deck date back to the 1960s. Made in California, it harks back to a time when skateboarding was at its peak due to the drought. The most valuable part of the boards are the axles, also known as the truck, which are marked California Slalom and are highly collectible. With a spare wooden board, this could be worth around £150.
Skateboarding was never my thing, but I know that people are as crazy for skateboards as they are for the BMX stuff as well. The trucks, I know. They're early, I know that, but that's as much as I know. So we'll take a chance. It's a skateboard, but I don't know if it's got any value.
No, I appreciate that.
Before he leaves, there's one more item that's caught Drew's eye, and it'd be potty to miss it.
Transylvanian chamber pot. Oh, the things that seen.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to wash my hand now. Oh.
It's made of Vampirex.
Oh. How much is that potty?
30 quid.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Just to make tea hold it.
This East European glazed jug, or chamber pot, is thought to be from the early 19th century. The simple blue and white design has been hand-painted and is typical of country pieces, which are in high demand at the moment. It could be worth around...
Again, they can still have the essence of a house clearance about the shop as well, which it does, you know, because it's a real random mix, isn't it? There's all sorts of stuff in here. Down on a low shelf, there's a blue and white pot, handled pot. Very attractive. Filthy, but very attractive. Any sort of blue and white ware I can generally sell, and the more country it looks, the better, the more naive, really. So the printing on it and the firing and everything, the glaze is very, very simple, very country. And there's a fabulous and unique charm to this stuff. And what really sells it to me is I turn it over and it's got stuck underneath in sellotape. It says Transylvanian Potty 1820. Well, I'm buying it just for that alone. I don't care if it is or it's not. It's a great story. Marvellous, lovely. Right, let's get this lot loaded. Why you go to shops like this? But this grabs me as a totally different take on the house clearance market. They're doing something very smart, which is, yes, house clearance is a grubby business, it really is, but they're finding the better pieces, the more saleable pieces, whether they be new or old, and marketing them at retail. Very clever, just the right thing to do.
There were some items that I was definitely surprised that Drew brought. Some items that I thought he would buy as well. So no, it's been good.
Mate, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Amazing, good
Thank you
luck.
for your time.
Yeah, well done.
It's been a pleasure to meet you. You too. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm very, very pleased with everything we got today. No, he started, right, with 50 quid. Now got 9 employees, and they're doing 3 house clearances in London a day.
Drew wants to get the items back to base as soon as possible. The sooner they're off the van, the sooner there's a profit to be made.
Good afternoon.
Hi. Hello.
Very nice one.
Nicest one I've had. I think bar one, maybe. But look, the beautiful distressed mirror on the back, nickel-plated, brass, beautiful slim hinges, handmade lock, all original glass, all original bracketry.
Price?
150 quid.
Oh, bargain. That little brass glass cabinet from Cullen's is a prime example of these little gems that clearance companies can sort of find. Drew's absolutely delighted. They sell so quickly. It's the right size, perfect in a bathroom, anywhere.
120 quid for the little jobs again.
Yeah, reading machine.
That's what they're called.
Oh, is that what they're
Yeah, that's what they're called. Yeah. Doesn't need much doing to it. Skateboard, that one's never been used.
No.
It's got nice original trucks on it and everything. So this plate, this checker plate on the bottom, that's been put on to save that. That's non-original. Doesn't matter. Just good collectible pieces. Cheap.
Could you just empty that?
Tea's filled this. Oh, it's a bit sloppy. Yeah. Oh. It's a.
What is it? Chamber pot.
What does it say on the bottom?
Okay, a Transylvanian chamber pot in 1820. For that alone, I bought it for that alone. I can't remember how much it was. Was it like 20 quid or something?
Yeah, 30 quid.
Yeah, it was 30 quid.
Well, Dracula must have owned a very small box. Fun selling point is it's got a sticker on the base that says Transylvanian pot. And we're all giggling. We're all thinking, did Dracula sit on this? Or a vampire? It's just a little quirk sideline, but it'll help sell it.
That's it.
Right?
Right, that's it.
Okay.
Let's get it off. Nobody ride the skateboard. We are all of a certain age. Everybody will hurt themselves, and we're not insured for that, so we'll have none of that, please.
You'd have to do a risk assessment.
Is that all right? Can't fall off then.
With all the items unloaded into the warehouse, Rebecca's intrigued about the skateboard.
So today I'm looking at a vintage skateboard, which I know nothing about. Whether I'm researching a 17th century jug or a vintage sink that sort of can give the item provenance, So bar the trucks, which say California Slalom, and the plate at the bottom that says California or Calif S, there's not a great deal to go on. Skateboards have changed dramatically over the years, and the materials change, the composition changes. The modern day one doesn't look like this. I'm looking at vintage 1970s. I've learnt today that in 1970, California had a heat wave and all the backyard swimming pools dried up. So the skateboarders started skating in them, and it was called vertical skateboarding. Perfect.
Context, which often makes an item more desirable and potentially a better earner. They say one man's trash is another man's treasure, and that's never more the case than with clearances. Drew's travelling over 100 miles up north to visit a steel factory in Sheffield. About to relocate, they want to clear out any unwanted items.
So we're here, not because the business is closing down, which is a really good thing. The business is actually thriving, and they have got rid of this place and they're moving to a new premises, and it's called Taylor's Eyewitness. I love the name.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Taylor's Eyewitness. Sounds like one of the beers you drink, doesn't it?
Taylor's Eyewitness is right in using handcrafted cutlery for over 150 years. They're now having a huge clear-out in preparation for moving to new premises, and it's all being overseen by Managing Director Alistair Fisher.
Well, the original Taylor's Eyewitness moved into this building here sometime in about the 1850s. It's actually at the end of its working life, and, you know, we'd needed to move for quite some time to run the business more efficiently. We're actually in the process of moving to a new building, so we need actually every penny we can squeeze out of Drew to help pay for the new building. There is quite a job to be done in clearing this place out.
And with the move happening in 2 months, there's no time.
Let's start.
Full tour?
This direction first.
Okay. I think the hardest thing today is going to be keeping up with Alistair. I mean, the minute you stop talking, he's just gone. Wow.
So we do a collection of these that are really just the nicest knives you can make.
Proper old industry, still working.
Yeah, this is sort of cleared out, so there's not really very much in here.
No.
So now those came from a pub on the corner.
Yeah.
So,
Acid etched pan.
absolutely original from a Victorian Edwardian pub.
These are hard to sell. I mean, it's nice to have the Greek key and everything running around the side. That design's called the Greek key, as you know. Then you've got the fleur-de-lis in the corner, so it's a real mixed message on there. These billiard ones, they do sell in...
Which belonging to the factory itself, rather than these pub windows that Alistair has acquired. But it's important that Drew shows some goodwill that hopefully will pay dividends later.
First place we sprint to with Alistair is to see some billiard glass. It's the first thing he's shown me, and I don't really want to not buy it, but I really don't want it. Sometimes when you meet somebody, you sort of get a fairly quick impression of them, and he wants to do business, and he wants to do it quickly and get it out of the way. He's a busy guy. So I'm thinking, let's just get the ball rolling, let's get some money changing hands. And also, it's a good tester to see how he's going to be throughout the day. It's worth, as it stands, about 100 quid. But £100, I'll take it, otherwise I have to leave.
150 then?
Meet in the middle, 125, and I'll have it. Yeah.
All right. Shop we're clearing.
Usually when we go to a factory clearance, it's a clearance and you can get stuff a lot cheaper. But today's different. They are just moving premises. They are, so, not quite so strong a bargaining position, but they'll still want to get rid of stuff. You know, they'll still, that's why they called us.
Now, these are original, what are known as buffers stools. So there were women employed in the cutlery industry in Sheffield called buffer girls.
Okay.
And they would sit and work on a wheel, always on
one of these.
Three-legged stool. I mean, obviously there's some spare parts, bits of legs and things like that.
These would literally have been made local to here.
Oh,
We're walking distance. Super, aren't they? Any stool that's been used for an industrial purpose or is particular to an area, that's what I really enjoy. These stools with that sort of ring-turned leg seem to be particular to Sheffield. There's just the sort of regional variation and the use of something so simple for so long. That's what I like.
These early 20th century stools are damaged from over 100 years of use. Each has a heavy oak or elm top and lathe-turned legs. Being a set of 6 and an authentic example of artisan furniture, they could be worth around £1,600.
What should we pay for a collection of those? 6 plus bits, or is it 5 plus bits?
Extra with worm.
So for these 6...
Salvage expert Drew Pritchard is a cutlery producer, Taylor's Eyewitness in Sheffield. They're having a clearance ahead of a move to new premises, so almost everything has to go, and Drew's hoping to bag some bargains.
These are original, what are known as Buffer's stools.
Super, aren't they?
But managing director Alistair is aiming to get every penny he can for the factory move.
So for these 6... 340.
Because that's barely 50 quid each, is it? So
Just a starting point.
I know that they sell.
Realistically, you know, there's money to be made on the 2 taller ones, and we might be able to scrape another one out of the parts as well. Alistair clearly knows the value of these stools. But I know what I can get for them, and I know how long it's going to take to do them. It isn't just a wipe and a wax. We go up to 550.
You've got 6 there. Well, why don't we do 100 quid each then? All right. Okay. All right. You got a bargain.
Right, there you go. Dealing with Alistair is well, he's a professional and clearly a very good businessman as well. So I'm not going to get anything for nothing today. That's for sure. So where's next?
Next, I would think. I don't know whether you're interested in some old showcase.
Need every salvage tool in the box to get the best deals on Alistair's unwanted items.
Look at that.
You big spanner.
They're heading upstairs to one of the old storerooms.
Blimey, that's a big one. Oh, you've got the doors as well.
We've got, I don't know what condition they're in. Most of these drawers are, whether they're all there, but they are.
That's a great piece in terrible nick.
Exactly.
That's a great shop counter. You set fire to it being in worse condition, but that'd be about it. It's ropey to say the least, but a great colour. Anything ebonised like that, and they've got these fantastic drop handles on, which I love. That's a tricky restoration.
This late 19th century oak shop counter. It has elegant curved ends and handles, but it does need a lot of work. Drew isn't able to move the unit to check out the back, so we can't see the extent of any possible damage. The sale includes the top section, which was added on later, but Drew is more interested in the base, which on its own could be worth around £4,000.
Alistair somewhat undersold it. He said, I've got some storage cupboards. What he got is a late 19th century ebonised oak shop counter cum bar. And it's a real good one. The size is great, the colour's great, the handles are fab. I can't see most of it. The back could be totally rotten, smashed to pieces, full of worm. It's still worth
See the full extent of any damage, it could be money down the drain.
What do you want for it?
Well, I know it's a good piece, but
This in good condition, I'd pay a few £1,000 for.
Yeah.
It's a really nice thing.
I tell you what, it's cheap, Drew. It's only $2.99. Look.
I'll take this, but I'm not going to put much value on the top piece to it. I think the value is this piece. If we can get this out and this out, 750 quid.
I think I'd be wanting 4 figures for it.
I can't do it.
Come on.
I can't. Just can't do it. I'll drop another 50 quid and put £800 on the table.
Go on, if you can do it.
Yeah.
All right, mate.
All right. We'll have to send a van back for it. Just going to fit through that door.
Yeah, get it through the doors. Yeah, it must have come in.
I'm liking your robot impression now.
You like that?
Yeah. Let's move.
Today, really good. That piece that we found, that great big dresser base or bar, whatever you want to call it, a great find and an unexpected one as well, which will restore fabulously. I paid exactly what I wanted to pay for it. It's made up for having to buy the other piece of glass. And I'm very, very happy to own it.
I'm not a great haggler when I'm buying myself, but you cannot accept people's first price. The great thing is with a guy like Drew is, you know, he obviously, when you agree a price, that's it. And it's great that some of the pieces from here will be, you know, cherished and looked after forevermore.
Sorted? Yeah, done. I'll stay.
Brilliant. Okay, lovely to see you. Okay,
Thank you.
take care.
Cheers, bye-bye.
Safe journey home, guys.
Big to get in the van, so Gav and Elwyn return to pick it up.
Drew said it's on the 3rd floor. He said it's quite big. But what's big to Drew and what's big to me is two totally different things, so I don't know what to expect at the moment.
Oh my God.
And it's a tricky job to get the 8 feet long unit out of the building it's occupied for so many years.
It's not the biggest item I've ever removed out of a building, but it's been the most awkward. We got there in the end.
As a well-known name in the antiques and salvage business, Drew's often the first point of call for people looking to sell.
One of the reasons Drew loves going to clear out is clear out means cleaning everything gone and quite...
And an intriguing email has just come through about another clearance happening almost 100 miles away in a former cotton mill just north of Manchester.
So, we're off to Oldham, and we're off to meet a guy called Matt, and he's clearing the mill, and he's got to get out of there by the end of this month. And it's always like, there's that little bloke in Wales, isn't it, that buys stuff.
And this is something that's popped up.
This is something that's popped up, and I think it looks very, very promising. As ever, I need a ton of stock, because if we haven't got enough stock, we're losing money. Do you know what I mean?
Stockfield Mill is a 3-storey former cotton mill just west of Oldham city centre. For the last few years, it's been used by professional musician Matt Wardle to house his enormous collection of paraphernalia gathered over his career.
Being a musician, all sorts of stuff really. I don't really use the space. It's basically glorified storage. I've decided to hand my notice in and move on. I've got basically 4 weeks to clear this whole place. I'm open to negotiation. It's got to go.
Matt.
Oh, hi.
Hello, how you doing?
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
How are you?
I have too.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hi.
You all right?
What a place.
This is fantastic,
It's
isn't
amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
What did it used to be?
Recording studio.
Okay.
Wow, yeah, you were in the
Practice
music
room.
biz.
For a while.
Rock star.
A little bit.
A little bit, that's fine. You're more of a rock star than me now.
Yeah, a lot more than that.
Okay. So just going to start pointing at things, and if you just start firing off prices, basically.
Okay.
Is that an original?
It is.
Yes, love a bit of that.
Go on, T.
If you stare at it long enough, you feel dizzy.
Amazingly terrible, aren't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah.
In a great way. I love them.
I like them. Yeah. I just like the design. And if it was a good price,
Just have it.
it was difficult not to buy it, you know.
Yeah. I think I'll have to leave them for now. Usually when you're buying from collectors, you can't get anything because they don't want to sell, and you have a very hard time. The only things you can get off of them are sort of either multiples or a sort of not quite the best pieces. They won't sell the really good stuff ever. This is different. The situation is today is I know he's got to get rid of all this stuff, and I know he's got to clear it out, so I'm already in the driver's seat, you know, deal-wise.
Finding lots of new items and at great prices, it's what Drew's here for.
You'd be looking for those.
And he's seen something that might be worth making a bid on.
Yeah. You know better than me. But they are stamped.
Not sure about those.
I mean, I've seen them a few years back go for big bucks.
What, 1,100-1,200 quid a
Yeah.
pair? I can't get anywhere near that these days. They're just not in.
Cognac chairs earn their name from their glass-shaped design. Originally produced by Finnish designer Eero Aarnio in the early 1960s, many reproductions have been made since. This pair are original and need little work. Chairs are always worth more as a pair, and this set could fetch around £800.
Everything goes in and out of fashion, that's for sure. So these do come in waves. I'm going to have to walk away or get it so cheap One price is very low, 300 quid a pair.
Salvage dealer Drew Pritchard is at a converted cotton mill in Oldham, where musician Matt is aiming to clear out his collectibles within a month. Drew's looking to bag some of the items that Matt needs to get shot of.
I know he's got to get rid of all this stuff, and I know he's got to clear it out, so I'm already in the driver's seat.
He's hoping to walk away with a pair of 1960s designer chairs. They're not that fashionable right now, so he wants to get them for a bargain.
If you want to make a bid on them,
One price is very low, 300 quid a pair.
so
Matt's sort of doing rid of. Doesn't matter if he's making a slight loss or just cutting himself even. It doesn't matter, he's getting rid of it. And look how much stuff he's got to move. Tricky for him, good for me.
So, Mr. Pritchard, we've been expecting you.
I'm just looking at that, the Vivian Westwood.
okay.
Okay, so change tone in voice. I collect old punk stuff. So, yeah, that is of interest to me,
Yes.
personally.
You'd have to make me a bid on it.
I've no idea what the market value is for one of those. I know what an original's worth, because I know somebody who's got two. I am a huge punk fan. It was a very large part of my growing up. I absolutely adore the ethos behind it. I think a bit of what we do is a bit punk. We do what we like. We do what we like in our own way, and that's all punk.
Vivian Westwood, at the height of punk in the decade before. Licensed from the original design, these pieces are still highly prized among punk fans, and Drew is no exception. This T-shirt could be worth around £500.
Throw a figure at me.
$300. Thought so.
I'm surprised you took so long to shake it down.
Yeah.
Have we got any other punk stuff?
Yes.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Sex Pistols or
Yeah,
anything punk?
got a signed God Save the Queen single. Fully
Okay,
signed.
can we have a look at that?
Yes, sure.
What you might see now is Drew actually running. He's about to break into a run.
Oh, yeah. So, have you had it authenticated?
Yeah, it was actually my father's.
What do you think?
Sufficiently bad state.
I like it even more because it's ripped.
T was into bands like Fields of the Nephilim, and you've got my Smiths album as well, haven't you?
No, it's my Smith.
Swedish import, double gatefold Smiths album.
Oh.
And I was skint and I sold it to him one day.
There was no promise to sell it back. It's mine.
This single, signed by 4 members of the Sex Pistols, is another iconic piece of punk memorabilia, and it could fetch around £600.
Got a figure?
$250.
Sold.
Another thing going to your house.
That's going to my house. Not in that frame, but it's going to my house. That's great, because, I mean, for me, personally, it's not an investment. It's something I'm going to keep. It means a lot to me. So.
Right. Well, the rip state adds to it.
It does,
It's
yeah.
just,
Yeah.
You haven't got to clear all this as well, have you?
Yes, unfortunately.
By the end of the month?
Yep.
You better get your finger out.
He's standing around here chatting to us.
I like that.
That was actually at the Battle of Waterloo.
No, it was not. It wasn't.
That's why it's draped over a pram.
It's over a fur-lined pram. What's cooler? Would you like an old, perfect condition Jaguar to drive around in, or one that was showing its age just a little bit? I know which one I'd rather have. It's the same with the Union Jack. They look cooler worn, particularly if they're full of holes, like bullet holes, aren't they? It's just cooler. That's why they sell better.
Torn or damaged Union Jacks are another image associated with British pop music. It became a punk symbol after the 1976 Sex Pistols single Anarchy in Arms.
I like that. How much is that?
30 quid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Marvellous. The buy of the day, both personally and financially, has been the Sex Pistols pieces. The other stuff will turn over. That's stock. The Sex Pistols things are a little bit of fun for me, but a long-term investment. Today has been hugely enjoyable and very, very good for the business. He's worked it both for my advantage and for his.
I think I was pricing things realistically for Drew to accept. I know that the value was higher on some of the items than what Drew's paid, shall we say, for Drew to buy them.
Right.
All right.
Done.
Yeah.
Sorted.
Yeah.
Finished. Matt, a pleasure. Thank you. Loved it
thank you.
today. Really did.
Been brilliant. Yeah.
Thank you.
Really
Good
good
to see you.
Cheers.
And,
See you
thank
guys.
you. Get good luck with this lot.
Thank you. Yeah, gonna need it.
With several new items to get off the van back in Wales, the team gets first glimpse of Drew's latest haul.
Success?
Oh, yes. Lots.
Wow.
We got some great stuff. So I've got a pair of fiberglass, and they've been redone. It's called cognac chairs. You've got the maker's mark underneath there.
Oh, they're cool.
Pair of. They were 350 quid. He collected sort of 70s stuff.
Careful, they go backwards. Oh, do they? Whoop.
You break it, you bought it.
The two cognac chairs are round velour cushioning, which was so in vogue then. They'll fly out. They're small, they're dinky, they're funky. I really like them. Sex Pistols. No,
Sex
yes.
Pistols, God Save the Queen, single sleeve, signed by Johnny Rotten, Sid Vicious, Steve Jones and Paul Cook. That was 250 quid.
That's a good price, isn't it?
I think so. I bought that as a bit of an investment for the future. And then we've got something that you're really going to like, actually, which is an original bondage T-shirt, God Save the Queen.
Wow.
But
Did
it's
Vivian Westwood do this?
Vivian Westwood designed them.
I remember.
There's a piece of punk memorabilia. It's pretty damn good.
It's very damn good.
It's great, isn't it? And the price, I thought, was fantastic.
Out of all Drew's passions, we have to start with buying antiques. Number one. Thirdly, it's music. And not any old music. Drew's favourite music is sort of the punk era. That's where he really works. His prices are very good.
Well, he had to get rid of it. I'm happy. I'm happy with them.
Meanwhile, in the workshop, Gav can now see the full extent of the work needed on the shop counter bought from Taylor's eyewitness.
Drew bought this kind of blind, really, because he couldn't really see the whole item in the warehouse. So we took a chance on it.
Drew decides to bin the shelving part of the counter and focus on the more valuable base. The back of this was intact, but there was a large split in the side, and one of the doors which Gav fixes first.
You just got to take your time with it.
Cleans and buffs the woodwork using car polish.
I like eminised furniture. It's nice to work on because you can see the difference from start to finish.
Gav then needs to mend the shelves and reattach the door,
It's like a glove, that.
before making sure the ebonised finish is perfect.
Once it's gone like misty and hazy, looks like it's gone like grey. It's time to take it off. So it's like a brand new door now.
Then the unit is ready for the top. Gav's kept some of the original wear and tear to maintain the counter's authenticity.
Things like this, you have to see past all the dirt and the grime and the sticky labels. And that's why he bought it. Looks really nice, to be honest. Do say so myself. It's like a totally different cabinet now, doesn't it? I was really happy.
It seems Drew was right to take a punt on the county's money. And several of Drew's clearance purchases were hot stock. After a deep clean by Gav, the finished design chairs from Stockfield Mill are snapped up.
The cognac chairs. Sold.
Yeah. They're going to Oslo in Norway. 24 hours and they've gone. Less than that.
While the flag from Stockfield Mill and Buffer stools from Taylor's Eyewitness also sell quickly to two customers in London and Cambridge.
Clearances come about because people have to get rid of everything. They have to get out. So they really need you, and I really need them. They just want rid of the stuff, so I'm getting it at real knockdown prices. It's a win-win situation for everybody.